Hello, hello, one and all. Welcome to Americans Learn. My name is Kit, and today we got ourselves an interesting video to learn about. It's from History Dose. So before we get started, the original link to all the videos that we are, of course, getting our learn on from are in the description box below. So please, 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 please support the original content creators. Why? Because it's the right thing to do. But this video is titled What a Medieval Duel Really Looked Like. So I think we're all familiar with, Game of Thrones, Trial by Combat. I challenge you to a duel. Wop, pop, pop, pop. So obviously, this should be pretty interesting to see. If this is the kind of content that you guys and gals like, please be sure to type it in the comment section below. We do appreciate it. And also be sure to throw a like, a comment. Be sure to subscribe and hit that ring bell notification too, because it helps us build up our YouTube channel. So without further ado, let's go ahead and see what this fight is all about. What a medieval duel really looked like. So first time checking this out, let's get ready to enjoy it. And since I'm in charge of the ones and twos, let's get ready to play this video in a 3, a 2, a 1. Okay. Oh my goodness.
The beloved Charles the Good is found cold at the altar in a dark pool of blood. The Count of Flanders has been murdered by a group of treacherous knights.
Sorry, I don't mean to pause it, but the Count of Flanders. Curse you, Ned Flanders.
Bound together in their crime by blood and oath, the knights are each arrested and tortured to death before cheering crowds of locals. But a suspect remains, the famed knight Guy of Steenvoorde. After the murder, he provided a place of refuge for one of the lead conspirators, his brother-in-law Isaac, and then attempted to help him escape. Before a group of nobles, a strong knight called Herman the Iron steps forward. Ever loyal to the slain Charles, the knight accuses Guy of his complicity in the murder of the Count, and challenges Guy to defend himself against the charge of treason.
Can you imagine? Oh my goodness. Herman the Iron. You don't get that name just because, hey, you say you put an iron in your meals, put in his daily vitamins. Oh, this looks horrifically brutal. Why am I dreading this already?
Outside a manor gather the crowds of meager peasants and haughty nobles. And perched on their mounts, the two knights in chainmail raise their shields and steady their lances. Since the fall of the Roman Empire, Germanic legal customs have crept back into a fractured Europe. In cases lacking trusted witnesses, a variety of grisly ordeals can be chosen to place justice in the hands of God. Guy has accepted
Trial by combat. Well, I think we've all seen this play out in Game of Thrones, but the real trial by combat could have been just as brutal. Oh, wow. Think about how crazy it was back in antiquity. I mean, a lot of the poor peasants didn't have what we have here today, entertainment and other things to keep our minds busy. That must have been the high point of the day. Like, hey, there's going to be a fight and somebody's going to die. Let's go check it out. Like, everyone was going to show up.
Accepted a judicial duel. A trial by combat, in which victory will prove his innocence just as easily as defeat will reveal his dark sin and provoke the wrath of justice. The knights break forward. In the stampede, Guy throws Herman the Iron from his horse. And each time Herman attempts to gather to his feet, Guy circles him, thrusting his lance to knock him down. Sensing the taunting lance of his challenger once more, Herman the Iron charges and swings his sword. Viscera spill from Guy's horse, and the beast stumbles dead.
Oh!
Guy reels in the red grass. Staggering to his feet, he unsheathes his blade and rushes Herman. The knights collide with locked blades, savagely swinging and chopping, until the gasping fighters throw down their shields and fall upon each other, losing their swords and resorting to fists and jammed fingers. Guy scrambles onto Herman and smashes his gauntlet against Herman's face. The crowds hear the thud of iron against bone as Guy batters him about the eyes and forehead and nose. And with each blurred strike, Herman the Iron grows limp. Guy of Steenvoorde sits atop the dazed knight, reveling in his own divine vindication. But the vanquished knight stirs beneath him, gently moving his hand down to the lower edge of the cuirass where Guy was not protected. Herman seized him by the testicles. Summoning all his strength for the brief space of one moment, he hurled Guy from him. By this tearing motion, all the lower parts of the body were broken, so that Guy, now prostrate, gave up, crying out that he was conquered and dying. The bleeding knight is brought back into town, and dragged beside the swaying corpse of another convicted conspirator, Guy of Steenvoorde is hanged. Medieval Europe is a
Oh. I wasn't prepared for that amount of anarchy. Ow. I could just imagine the pain. Well, that's too much. Oh, Jesus. Ay, ay, ay. That was too much. That was painful to even do. Ugh.
land humming with the divine and replete with profane contradictions. The magnificent castles of kings and queens loom over towns of wood and stone. Farther out are the thatched roof villages and cropland, which host the servile peasants bound to their lord's domain. The many polities of this continent are governed and policed by distinct groups of nobles, clergy, and knights, oath-sworn to chivalry. They are expected to clear the land of evil, witches and sorcerers and criminals of all stripes. Thus, a trial by combat is not an arena for knights to prove their valor, but a terrifying last resort for the accusers and accused, a seemingly religious ritual maligned and outlawed by many in the church, who deny God's involvement in such a merciless business. Even those fighting on behalf of monks have no qualms about seizing victory by gouging out the eyes of their opponents. And although women, clerics, and children are often required to hire so-called champions to fight in their stead, this isn't always the case. In marital duels, a wife could fight her husband, who would be subject to handicaps that included standing in a ditch with a hand tied behind his back. When husbands are defeated, they are executed. Wives are buried alive. In duels, triumph begets carnage.
Well, this was a brilliant idea for everyone. Yeah, boy, it makes divorce court look far more palatable than anything we're seeing here. Oh my goodness.
Herman the Iron survives as a heroic knight who has defended his count's honor, while the castrated corpse of Guy of Steenvoorde dangles from a tree, the rotting subject of mockery for the passing peasantry. Stripped of shimmering armor and professions of piety, the medieval duel is as simple as it is brutal. Two people fighting for their lives. If you're like me and want to know exactly how knights like Herman the Iron would have lived, how they fought, or you just want to see someone shoot chainmail with an arrow, you're in luck. The Knights in 4K series from Magellan TV shows all of those things in vivid detail. In all History Dose view.
All right, so there you go. All right, we're gonna stop here. I gotta say, first and foremost, please support History Dose. The original link to this video is in the description box below. Talk about attention to detail, art, narration. What a fantastic YouTube channel. If this is the kind of content that you guys like us to show here and share on Americans Learn, please type it in the comment section below. I have to tell you, I was not preparing for this amount of anarchy. And I sure as hell wasn't prepared for a glorious medieval duel to go so low in regards to somebody getting their testicles ripped off. I mean, jeez, the amount of strength that you had to do that. I truly dread to think that. I don't want to know. And that's the purpose of the channel, Americans Learn. There's some things you just don't want to learn. And whew, I will never look at trial by combat the same ever again. This, by far, was a work of art, and I'm going to be definitely keeping my eye on History Dose. This is a great YouTube channel. Be sure to check it out. Please be sure to throw a like, comment, share, and subscribe here for Americans Learn. Wow. Talk about insanity. But this was a outstanding video. Again, if you guys and gals like this kind of content, please give us your feedback in the description box below. Until then, folks, if you're ever in combat, be sure to protect all parts of your body, okay? Just protect it all. Protect it all. Until then, take care. I'm out.